Climbing back upon Mount Soapbox for another rant, and I just couldn't let it go. I tried to. I even talked about it a little bit in some of last week's videos. By the way, thank you so much to all of our new subscribers and viewers. Welcome to the GeauxBurns Nation. But it just kept nagging at me. And I had to think about it over the weekend, and finally I started feeling the need, the desire, the drive to rant about it. And maybe it's going to come across as me milking or beating a dead horse. Take whichever pun you want, but I just got to get this out of my system. The Jawbone knife. Yes, the Jawbone knife. It tasks me. Now, the Jawbone knife, as some of you know, was one of the 3 so-called new weapons added to Reddit Online last week in update 1.06. Technically, only one of those weapons is going to be new, the Evans Repeater, and it's still not in the game yet. It's quote-unquote coming soon. Maybe we'll get it tomorrow. If we do, I'll be streaming tomorrow on Reddit Online and every Tuesday for the new event weeks, just like I do on Thursday for Grand Theft Auto Online's new event weeks, for better or worse. But hopefully we get the Evans Repeater soon. But the other 2 weapons that we got was the rare shotgun, which is actually a story mode weapon, and it's only a little bit better than the double barrel shotgun aesthetically, as well as when it comes to accuracy. Now, the 3rd weapon, the Jawbone knife, first and foremost, is at the moment only available via PlayStation 4 because it's part of the early access content deal that Rockstar Take-Two have with Sony. Money, right? But the Jawbone knife, this little knife has just really grinded my gears. It also is not technically a new knife. Now, if you go buy this book, which I happened to buy around the time Red Dead Redemption 2 came out, actually I pre-ordered it. It looks nice. It's awesome. It's got great artwork in it. It has the weapon stats as well. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to post those stats regarding specifically the Jawbone knife and the other knives in Red Dead Redemption 2. And I'm sure some of these, or probably all of them, will eventually find their way drip-fed into Red Dead Online. So the Jawbone knife, the early access knife on PlayStation 4, which eventually, in a month or so from now, will be over on Xbox One, is currently available at the fence for $105. And what's interesting about the Jawbone knife, if you read the description how you acquire the Jawbone knife in Red Dead Redemption 2, you don't just find it somewhere. You actually have to go on a side questing and collecting of dinosaur bones in Test of Faith in order to eventually be able to get the Jawbone knife in Red Dead Redemption 2. So it's one of the more difficult knives to acquire in Red Dead Redemption 2, and yet magically you can just walk up to the local fence on PlayStation 4 and purchase it, as long as you have at least $105. Now, I will say this about the Jawbone knife. It looks cool. Looks are all she has going for her, especially when you look at the stats. So, none of the knives, except for the throwing knives, are throwables. They're all melee only, which means you can only use them hand-to-hand combat at very close range. They all have the same damage. The Jawbone knife, as you can tell, has the same damage as all the others. The hunting knife, the wide blade, Civil War, antler knife. All of them, 50 damage. No better, no worse. So you get the hunting knife at the very beginning of Red Dead Online during the tutorial for free. It does the same amount of damage as the Jawbone knife, which costs $105 more than the hunting knife. The Jawbone, the wide blade Civil War knife, the antler knives, they look cool. I like the fact that there's different looking knives, but it would have made more sense for them to be customization options for your knife at the gunsmith, instead of being treated and touted by Rockstar as quote-unquote new weapons, which they clearly aren't because they're already available in Red Dead Redemption 2 story And now the Jawbone knife and probably the rest of these knives will eventually be drip fed out in future updates for Red Dead Online, similar to the rare shotgun. But the difference is the rare shotgun at least has some stat difference between it and the double barrel shotgun. Now what I find hilarious is the price tag itself for the Jawbone knife. We're paying over $100 for a knife in $18.99. Yeah, if you go to Amazon.com, by the way, if you go to Amazon.com, whatever you buy there, that's entirely up to you. Disclaimer. But if you go to knives, yes, Amazon actually sells knives. Yeah, wow, for now at least. But we go to the knives, and we may come across some that are going to have a higher price tag than the Jawbone knife. But a lot of them are considerably cheaper in 2019. So this one is Smith & Wesson. It's $11. This Tac Force is $10, $8, $14 to $25 for that knife, $87 for this buck knife. You get this whole set of knives right here, the 7-piece tactical set, for $70. And then this knife is $40. Okay, so this one is Benchmade fixed knife. It ranges pretty high, $144 to $253. $13 for this knife, all the way up to $22. As you can tell, the range of knives in real life, money-wise, can be pretty cheap, $5 to $10. Some going much higher, up to, like nearly $100. Some going over $100. But the point is, in Red Dead Online, we have to pay considerably more for the Jawbone knife in $18.99 than its equivalent would have been actually worth. And it's so ridiculous because this is just one of many examples of items in the game, like as people joke about the food at the grocery stores being way more expensive than they theoretically should be, like the can of beans. You've heard it all before. You look at the price tag and you're like, why the hell is this so expensive in Red Dead Online, which is supposed to be set in $18.99? But on the flip side, this is what I find even funnier. We now have emotes, thanks to update 1.06, that cost even more than the Jawbone knife. Yeah, emotes that are like hundreds to $300 in range, or several bars of gold for other emotes, just for like pointing at somebody or doing like some weird other like things emote-wise. You have to pay more for an emote than for a knife. So it's a little crazy from both sides when it comes to the Jawbone knife. And the truth is, it's just another prime example about how most of the prices in Red Dead Online really do make no sense. And it's ridiculous that Rockstar is putting it out there as quote-unquote new content, a new weapon, when all they're doing is they're bringing it over from Red Dead Redemption 2, just like they did with the rare shotgun. Most likely, what they're going to end up doing with the other knives, like I mentioned, the wide blade, the Civil War knife, along with the Antler knife. And I won't be surprised if they have similar price tags, or perhaps even higher than the Jawbone knife. So my advice to any of you even thinking about getting the Jawbone knife, whether right now on the PlayStation 4 or maybe in a month from now on the Xbox One, all you're doing is you're buying a reskin version of a knife that you already have. Buyer beware when it comes to the Jawbone knife in Red Dead Online.